They say cash is king.
What I call them? Fun coupons.
But in Australia, digital payments reign supreme.
Booking a restaurant, go online. Talk about your water bill, go online. Talk about electricity, go online. Do your banking, go online.
Even wallet makers have noticed a shift.
There has been just a slight drop in sales generally for wallets.
And the government says 6% of the nation's stores have now stopped taking notes and coins.
Cash.
There's no cash here. Here, there's no cash.
No cash.
The Reserve Bank statistics show 90% of transactions in Australia are digital, and only about 4% of Australians prefer paying with cold, hard cash, raising concerns that may soon be a thing of the past.
It's all part of a much bigger digital revolution.
Morning, Treasurer.
Morning.
Last month, the Treasurer announced a year-long consultation to determine which businesses should be mandated to accept cash. He believes cash-reliant Australians are being left behind.
We're making sure that people can continue to pay cash for essential items if they want to and if they need to.
Cash can be very expensive for small businesses to manage. Cash is not free for small businesses. They have to pay the truck to deliver it. So it'll be interesting to see what the impact is on those businesses who might be affected by this proposal.
Now, what the government have said, we're going to make sure you can do essentials with it. Who decides what essentials are?
Cash is what we use. That's an important part of our economy. You can't just get rid of it. If I have no access to cash, how am I going to spend cash?
Goolgong in the New South Wales Central Tablelands is an old gold rush town. This bank is the only one left, and it's only open half of the day. Westpac and NAB moved out over 20 years ago. Scott Etherington runs the local newsagent and post office.
Hey mate, how are you? We don't have perfect telecommunications in this country. I don't think in any country, but especially in Australia. And out in the rural and regional areas, there are numerous examples of when the electronics just dies. When the lights go out, we can't do anything. You can't buy anything, I can't sell you anything, nothing happens.
During the CrowdStrike outage in July, which crashed huge swathes of Australia's software-dependent technology, the closest source of cash was a half an hour's drive away.
Telecommunications goes down, what are we doing? We're all standing around looking at each other, or we're trading eggs and chooks again.
What I want to put to you is that country people are feeling this far greater than the movement in the cities, and it costs banks a lot of money to have cash.
Independent MP Russell Broadbent is a long-time cash advocate and has been pushing for the government to ensure it doesn't disappear altogether.
I don't think the government has gone far enough. I'd be going further to say cash has to be available to be accepted in any transaction.
But that could prove difficult. In June, the only distributor of cash in Australia, Armaguard, required a $50 million injection from its biggest customers, which includes major banks, to keep it afloat, but only for the next year. What's going to happen after a year?
They didn't just provide money and walk away. They're all sitting at the table, literally having day-long workshops with the company, working out how to make that company more viable.
Thank you very much.
Scott Etherington says it's banks that the government should be targeting when it comes to ensuring cash remains.
They've put in barriers at every step. Every way they can, they're going to try and discourage you from using cash.
As well as closing regional branches, major banks have removed 6,000 ATMs across Australia in the past 5 years. Last month, Westpac announced it's removing cardless cash from its machines.
Banks have sold some of their ATMs to private operators, so those ATMs are still in the system. Australians are very well served, particularly, I look around me when I go and buy my lunch every day, and overwhelmingly, people are choosing to use their phone, their watch. This is customers jumping into digital opportunities.
They're leading towards making money for their shareholders, and by reducing so many branches and withdrawing so many ATMs, they're definitely trying to reduce the use of cash. What do you reckon? There'll be a high percentage of deliveries going out before Christmas?
Tim Waldash of Next Payment is now one of the biggest owners of ATMs in Australia.
With the banks withdrawing so many ATMs, our business has actually grown in cash. So we're significantly up, and the RBA data also states that independent providers are increasing their percentage of the market.
And he believes nothing will change unless government forces the issue.
Look, the banks do a lot better out of digital payments as far as profit goes compared to a cost centre in running cash. If we wake up in the morning and we've got a $50 note, when we go to bed that night, that $50 note is still worth $50 and it's in circulation. If it's tap and go all day and it's 30 transactions, that 50 might be $5 or $10 and the bank own 45 of it. And the card schemes, Visa and MasterCard own a portion of it. But it's out of our community, it's out of the taxpayers' hands.
But Anna Bly says the banks are just following the habits of their customers.
Customers are jumping to the convenience of online banking. In fact, they're now interacting with their bank more often than they ever have before, because they can do it 24/7.
And banking and digital payment expert Steve Worthington says cash can be saved, but as long as people have phones, digital transactions will be the dominant form of payment.
When Apple Pay became useful, you could load your card onto your mobile phone and use that to pay with. And now there's Google Pay and Samsung Pay, etc. So that was a turning point. You didn't have to start fumbling around for your cards or your cash. You could just use your phone to tap and go.
What would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go?
And now tech giants are attempting to make it even easier. Amazon's new payment system, which requires you to tap a card on entry and then tracks what you take in store, is being rolled out in Australia's biggest stadiums.
No lines, no checkouts, no registers.
The future of digital payments, I guess, is almost endless, right?
It is, it's exponential. It'll grow and grow and grow.